several living and they lived for years, and they brought him. Eisenhower met him, and
That's a
Okay.
that's a fucking plot. That's a fucking plot from I think American Horror Story with the tunnels and the aliens are going in to make these deals with the president.
He says that all that fictional stuff was drawn from reality. That's real stuff.
I'm sorry. I'm glad he was ass raped by aliens.
Well, I wanted to, because he was talking about all these races of aliens, and are there whites, and there are lots of whites, because they can't be replaced if there's more whites than anything, and that's a comforting thought for me and Tucker Carlson and J.D. Vance, that the whites are the major race in the alien world.
So, like the Nordics? You're talking about like the Nordics, or you're talking about?
Well, he didn't even mention the whites. I didn't go there. He just was talking about the grays and all. I was just assuming the whites. I didn't ask him if there were any blacks, but there are grays and oranges. Oranges is weird, but where did little green men come from if they're all orange? Somebody had bad eyesight or something in New Mexico or something.
The original alien sightings, or the original reported alien sightings that were written about, was before they were green. They said they were little brown men, which I was like, so you guys are just talking about us Mexicans. And
they were coming from. Did they ever finish building that wall to stop those aliens?
Brown men? No.
No, he wanted a transparent wall, so that they couldn't. So they couldn't see. So the Mexicans couldn't see the wall, so they could not catapult their drugs over it, because they wouldn't know where the wall was to catapult over it, because they couldn't just walk up to an invisible wall and go, oh, like a mime. Okay, there's the wall. Set up your catapult here and shoot the drugs over. No more tunnels. We're just gonna,
Well, it was.
Sorry.
It was a fascinating conversation. I mean, and it's going to make for some really good clickbait for shorts, stuff that would excite the little wheelchair boy. But he logically, some of the things he said did not make sense. Like, he was saying the aliens showed up in Roswell in 1947. That's where our only nuclear B-52 bomber was, and so that's the reason, because we set off atom bombs and they wanted to come. We were disturbing their weather, and I was like, well, what?
So why didn't they show up in Japan?
Well, the logic part of it, there were sightings and things before 1940, long before we had nuclear weapons. So doesn't that kind of premise, that idea, just fall apart? Like, if they're here to stop us from using nuclear weapons, why were they showing up way before we had nuclear weapons? He didn't really have an answer for that. He kind of went into a political speech or something, like, well, blah, 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 blah. Lost me. But
and they should have gone to Japan, where the bombs were actually used on people.
Well, no, they don't care about people. They were caring about the weather disturbances on their planet. Like, our the atom bombs we set off in Hiroshima and Nagasaki was somehow fucking up their weather up there, wherever up there is. That doesn't make, like, that wouldn't happen anyway, right? I mean,
well, I think it would be if they were hollow Earth aliens, or if they were aquatic aliens. Yeah. They're not
aliens.
Correct. They're not. But that a lot of the theory is that our alien visitors are actually from the oceans.
Yeah, no, he did say some stuff about undersea bases and all that stuff too. It's all very convoluted and stuff. But he kept telling me I need to go inside. There's gonna be a big awakening by 2027, and he says I'll still be alive for it.
I would like it. I would really like it if he were awakened from his little fevered alien fantasy. He's the one that needs to be awakened.
See, now you're like a Matt Dillahunty.
Damn, that's
I don't think so.
It's like fighting words from GD. He's like, I will fuck this guy up for his beliefs. Fuck this guy and his belief in aliens.
He's a fighter pilot.
I don't care if people believe in aliens. I just would like there to be some kind of fucking fact-based premise for it.
I could find you some right now if you want.
What? He saw one. as a fighter pilot. Well, not as a fighter pilot. Before
The
he became a fighter.
Navy and the Air Force see them frequently.
They see things they can't explain, and I understand that, and I appreciate that. I accept that. I understand that.
Well, slow down there. Because as whatever he was the chief intelligence officer for the whatever the unit he was with, and
I don't care if he was the head chef at
he's seen stuff that
Arthur
people
Treach's
could
Fish and
explain
Chips.
and explained it to him as these we're getting the information from aliens.
Yeah, all you got to do is go to aaro.mil, GD, if you want proof.
I'm still trying to figure out how to get to AARP. I'm still trying to figure out how to get to AARP.
No,
out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's from the actual government. And most people that are like, when they released that site, everybody's like, nah, who cares? Let me look and see what's on TikTok. But if you go to AAR, you can actually see clips of shit that you're like, what the fuck is that? And this is
right.
From
I understand that. I understand
that. But to sit there and go like, oh, it's not aliens. It's not. So what is it then, GD?
I'm saying they don't know what it is. We can attribute.
No, the aliens told them what it was. They did this, and they told them. I am orange from planet O, and I am gray from planet G, whatever. Anyway, so he says that they communicated with Eisenhower, and then they were communicating with our military. Now, why the USA? This is the thing. Like, why not Bali? Bali's a nice place, and the weather's nice.
Trump is one of them. Okay, you said it. They're oranges. Trump is orange. Trump is actually their leader. So when they
that
say
would make sense for now,
leader,
but
when they say
this was before Trump, this was a year before Trump was born.
I understand it, because time, if they've mastered traveling through space, then time obviously doesn't mean that much to them. So they see in the future where their leader was, they help lay the groundwork for that one day their leader could take over.
I thought you would have gone for the low-hanging fruit here about the oranges raped
when
Trump's
do I
mother.
go for low-hanging fruit?
Obviously not today.
Somebody listens to the show all the time. You guys go for low-hanging fruit all the time.
But I would think, and somebody would grab this low-hanging fruit, because there's right there, it's like an orange on the ground, where one of these oranges from 1947 came down, because it seemed like a year before Trump was born, or 9 months before he was born. They came down, raped his mother, and that's why he's so orange. Makes sense, right? I'm on to something. Go ahead. And it's
you are onto something. I think it's mushrooms.
That would be
good. Well, Eisenhower did disappear for a short period of time.
Sure.
And they made up stories relatively, I guess, about where he was. And the rumor or the theory is that he visited off-world places and was in meetings with the aliens. There's also a theory that, and this is one of those really scary theories.
Hold on, let me get my scary.
I mean, it is kind of terrifying when you think about it. I think it is, that they made a deal, and one of the deals, and it's not just the United States. They're with all the main governments to make deals, and it's not one race of aliens; it's multiple races of aliens, because they're in competition with each other or warring against each other also.
That's exactly what he said. You watched.
I would have, but I was at comedy and I didn't know that there was going on. But anyway, so one of the deals that they made was that they can take people out of the national parks. Now, you laugh at that, but every year we have tons of missing people from the national parks, and they never find them, and they also don't do much to go find them. So that's a really terrifying thing that happens.
I laugh not because I think it's ridiculous. I just think, you probably could say any park. I mean, national parks, local parks, state parks.
Well, national parks, the federal government has,
and they're huge. They're huge, if you will. They're huge, if you will.
Yeah.
Well,
and
he
kept
talking.
Local authorities don't have. Local authorities don't have the authority.
Local authority. The local authorities don't have local authority at federal.
Yeah, that's.
Well, my
Now,
question was about because the Eisenhower thing. Remember, Eisenhower gave
okay, this is what happened with Eisenhower, and everybody knows it because of Eisenhower was banging some chick. He had a heart attack. He didn't want the country to know. So they said, all right, while he recovers from a heart attack, we're not going to say that he was banging one of his aides and had a heart attack. We have to say that he's, what else can we say that will save face? How about he was off world talking to aliens? You got it.
That's the
That's
one
much
they went
better
with.
because we cannot have him banging that black hostess and having a heart attack because then we
right.
find out that black pussy kills. We can't do that, or it can at least harm you. So that's it.
But
Never
I was
happened.
trying to give him some pushback with the Eisenhower thing because he said Eisenhower met with him, and I was like, remember Eisenhower gave us this big speech as he was leaving this military-industrial complex. Why didn't he just like, oh, and by the way, the fucking aliens here? Like he's on the way out, he's giving a speech that the military complex doesn't want him given anyway. He's already spilling beans. He said, well, the cabal basically said, you know, you can't, the cabal that controls everything told him, you know, we'll off you if you say, and they told the same thing to Kennedy. And the real reason Kennedy was killed was because he was going to spill the beans. Had nothing to do with Vietnam or any of that stuff, or Cuba or Bay of Pigs, none of that stuff. It had to do with he was going to spill the beans about the aliens that were still visiting the White House every so often. And that's why Kennedy got killed. So there's that. But
Well,
you know,
I would assume that if, let's say, the aliens did meet with Eisenhower as the original contact with our government, Eisenhower was no dummy, and I'm sure that the aliens, if they're able to manipulate, obviously there's always going to be dumb people and dumb aliens, but whoever they sent I would hope is an ounce of intelligence, probably told him from this point on, or maybe from Kennedy's point on, or whatever, none of the presidents should know about our existence. And only secret squirrels within the government, what's what we call them, secret squirrels, within the government are going to know about it. So every president isn't going to know, or every government official isn't going to know. Even the chief of the, the head of the CIA, FBI, or whatever, they're not going to know about these other government agencies, and they're not going to know about the existence.
well, he said, because I said this cabal, he said, well, the deep state, as you imagine it, is not as you imagine. It's not a United States thing. It's a worldwide cabal. Cabal. That's a fancy word for saying a bunch of evil people. But who are they and where they go? Well, you'll never know their names, and well, that just sounds like I could just say anything then. If you're not gonna, if you can't say it was GD and John running the world, or specifically name them, then you could just there's no. It's like saying a crime. Yeah, I know who committed the
I
crime. It
can't
was
speak for John, but if I were running the world, things would be a hell of a lot different. Like there would not be a President Trump, period.
We don't have foxes here. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. I mean, hell, if I got that kind of power, that kind of clout, I can't stop one fucking infection from taking over the country, and by infection I mean Donald Trump and the like. Now, true, he did not create this, but God did he exploit it, and his alien friends or his cult friends are letting him do it.
Yeah.
If I couldn't stop that with just that one act back in 2015 or 2016, if I couldn't stop that, then what the fuck am I doing with this kind of authority and power?
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
I said, that's what I'm saying. Me, I'm not a world burner kind of guy.
That's what, when you look at all the crap that goes on, that's the only illogical, logical explanation, is that some people just want to sit back and watch the world burn.
So, yeah. But I agree. It seems like, if there's a cabal running the world, they are definitely enjoying the chaos and enjoying the suffering.
It's like a reality
show. The world, they have to get something out of it.
They're already multi-billionaires.
My brain hurts because if
it shouldn't make your brain hurt. It should be interesting because life is boring, and so you have to make up all these weird little things like things to think about because nobody fucking reads a book. I read a book, but I still find all this stuff interesting.
But he's saying the cabal doesn't want people getting this information out because then there would be worldwide panic. And what you're saying is they would enjoy that panic, and I tend to agree with you. If
Well, not the
these
whole world. Well, okay, not the whole world would like that, because you think about this, and I can't believe I'm engaging in this kind of nonsense, but here we go.
I like watching GD's facial expression this entire time because she's like, "This is motherfucking bullshit."
well, that's kind of
Okay.
why I'm here,
You have-
because to
you
torture
have-
him with UFO
You
stuff.
have Christians, let's say.
I don't have
people
any
who
Christians. I
believe
got rid of
in
them all.
a divine God.
I got Chloe exterminated.
This kind of
with that
shit
Christian.
will be the very thing that would just drive them up a fucking wall.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So,
What-
so not everybody would want.
Well,
to see
you don't
this
think it
kind
would
of
drive
thing.
the Muslims up the wall? I mean, it would. Everybody,
Well, all
every
of the
religion, right?
okay, the monotheists, the absolutists, that God created the world in 7 days, that we're special, There are no other creations outside of this. All powerful God created this. Even if the Christians were somewhat humble and say God did not create the heavens and the earth, but just the earth, just this, then they could say, okay, and there are other gods out there creating other earths. And they have their things, and they have their battles, and this is their Vietnam. This is where they're going to have fight. Okay, yeah, I could, but that's not how Christianity works. And so they would not want to see this kind of shit. So yeah, they would not want the world to burn like that, is what I'm saying. So not everybody wants to see the world burn, and that's my example. The monotheists, for one.
But the cabal, according to John's theory here, which I agree with, the people who run the world enjoy seeing all the people fucking each other up in wars and all that stuff. That's why they let it happen. So he's saying the cabal is not going to let us freak out by telling us there are aliens here, and I think that runs counter to the idea that the cabal is a bunch of evil fucks anyway. Why wouldn't they want us fucking losing our minds?
Yeah, I don't agree with him in that regard at all, because right now there's so much stuff that's amusing them. If there was a cabal, let's say there's some all-powerful, just ungodly rich, don't need to worry about money, and they just amuse themselves with watching the dumb shit that we do, leaking dumb shit, starting theories, all this other stuff, because they want to watch us just squirm and watch the world burn. Like I said, because they've got nothing better to fucking do. They've already raped enough babies. They've already, whatever it is that they fucking do. And so they're just sitting back and like, okay, well, it's already falling to hell right now. We'll wait to release any kind of aliens, and then we'll cause some more panic.
Right. Are you ready for the comedy element? There was a comedy element. Yeah, I told him I would download the audiobook, and he said, "Oh, good, you can listen to it while you're running."
Running.
Oh, running.
You're like, do I look like a runner to you?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I ran. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I saw an alien, I would run. But I'm not. I did download the audiobook, and I look forward to listening to, because it's a fictional book based on the stuff that he knows factually. And it kept coming back to, well, I had a radio show of just these people because he talked about the abduction stories all being very similar and all the communication that they had. And I was like, I talked to a lot of abductees, so-called abductees. They were all batshit crazy. They were people just looking for attention, making shit up. I don't believe any of them. But you called Stanton Friedman batshit crazy. Yeah, I did when I was 17.
I'm sorry. The most realistic abduction stories I've ever heard came from Kate McKenna on Saturday Night Live. Those are the most convincing abduction stories I've ever heard. Those I believe.
What was that?
Kate McKenna, Saturday Night Live.
Yep. What was the abduction story? I mean,
not just one. There's like a dozen of them. She has like a dozen of those abductions.
That's a bit on Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live, Kate McKenna. Google her alien abduction stories.
I did not know anything about this. This is the first I'm hearing, because I don't watch.
That's because you don't go deep enough into the deep state.
Saturday Night Live. So they did like
Kate
a recurring
McKenna, bit. Yes. Kate McKenna. Yeah.
Huh. And was it funny?
Oh, fucking hilarious! It's some of the best shit they
Yeah.
did. She's gone now. She was
Wow.
abducted
Oh
by
no.
Hollywood.
Oh,
Wow.
that's the worst way to be abducted.
All
I
right.
know, because when they probe you, oh man.
Well, the bottom line is I'll have clips that weirdos can check out and say, "Oh, that was great."
Yeah,
So,
Matt, and
yeah.
your homework is to find the Kate McKenna alien abduction footage from Saturday Night Live
What was the homework I had the other day that I really had to
that you
check
really
out?
didn't
And
do.
I didn't do it, and I even forgot what it was.
It's
Some
possible that we were going to group watch
Oh, we still got to do that.
the Thunder was the human tornado.
We got to do that. That would be freaking epic. I totally am down with doing that. 100%.
Dolomite, the human tornado. Yeah, but I'm not blaxploitatable because I'm white. I'm white exploitatable. But
It has
I
nothing
don't
to do
know.
with us watching it and commenting as scientists. You know, for the children.
Right.
Right.
We're watching it for humanity.
I'm 100%
John, did you you had two choices last night. I'm just wondering which one you chose. You could have poked yourself in the eye with a blunt stick, or you could have watched the president, or I lose that term loosely, speech. Which one did you choose?
I went and did comedy.
So the blunt stick.
Yeah.
All right.
And I was on with some of the comedians that I really like. And it was an open mic, but I was on with some. It was a really good lineup, and I was like, "Ah, fuck."
So
always gonna laugh at me.
Was the audience was there a decent sized audience?
Oh yeah, where we do open mic, there's a really fun place to do, and I wish I could have taken GD there. Hopefully, when it comes back.
Oh, you took me to the Parrot because you could. Oh, okay.
It was that was the night that was available. But Wednesday night is a place called River City Saloon, and it's fucking awesome. It is one of the best places.
Why did you tell me? I could have come up a day earlier than the day I came up.
Well, I would have had to know in advance too. I think Carl would have let you on because you're coming from Maryland. I wouldn't have got on, but I think he would have slipped you in.
He'd have let you come on because you're my sidekick.
No, he's heard my comedy. He doesn't.
Well, because there was a decent sized audience there, I'm hopeful
like over
because
200 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, I said decent size. That's not.
I'm over 200 pounds.
Yeah,
that's decent.
That's decent. I get. Well, how do you define?
Woman,
anyway, there's smart people in Michigan because they obviously decided instead of watching this orange alien talk, I'm going to go listen to comedians talk, and so they're at least smarter than the average American because
right.
I think a lot of people watch this dopey speech. I can't imagine why I would turn on a television. I gotta, or even a computer. I gotta hear what he has to say. You know what he's gonna say, even though I got it wrong. You still know, he's gonna say it's a great economy. We have a wonderful economy, but the economy sucks, and it's all Joe Biden's fault. Which
now, maybe one of you guys can explain this to me. Trump says he's trying to take back our land from Venezuela. They've stolen our land and our natural resources, and he's taking it back. Right. I think I missed the part of history when Venezuela was part of the U.S. and they took that land from us.
No, it's just topsoil. They were. I don't.
Erosion.
It was. I think it was March 1986. They were here with shovels and wheelbarrows, and they took a bunch of topsoil, and then they put it in Venezuela, and then magically oil popped up under it.
So, they took like the good dirt off of what is now our deserts, and so
Roswell.
Okay.
Roswell. So our deserts are deserts because the Venezuelans took the good soil and took it back with them to Venezuela, and he wants.
And
that
they didn't even leave any like good shortstopps or like second baseman, because that's what Venezuela is known for, supplying us with the best second baseman and shortstops.
So if we take back the land, the topsoil, we have to give them back their second baseman and shortstops.
I think they're all retired by now. I don't know. That's a good question.
It almost sounds like there was a deal made. It almost sounds like we will give you some really good infielders for some topsoil. It almost sounds like that there was a deal made.
Do you have the number for the cabal?
They communicate telepathically.
I want to call the cabal and ask them. Oh,
give me a second. Damn it. 410-762-3382.
I don't know about that.
And it's also, you could also try 410-339-0661 or 240-518-4121.
I think you're trying to get me in trouble. I think if I dial that, it'll be somebody saying me, we're sending you a check. You just got to deposit it today.
No, those are all people who called me trying to sell me shit.
Oh.
So
yeah.
If they want business, I'm gonna send them a bunch of business their way. Call them. They're trying to sell you shit.
So in about a half hour,
I got like a dozen more if you want.
Oh no. I think I got them all those spam numbers myself. By the way, Apple changed their operating system, and now it's just coming like it's very weird that it says maybe Sarah. Well, I have a stepdaughter, Sarah, so I'm gonna. Oh wait, it's not. It doesn't. Not my stepdaughter. It's a Sarah telemarketer. I don't like this. They give me maybe names now, and I don't like that. Give me. I like spam risk. That's spam risk. Then I know. Okay, just avoid it.
They're doing both because I got one that was. I think if they have an Apple phone that they're calling you from, it can tell you what the contact is. Maybe this person, but if it's not, it will. Because I'm still getting ones that say spam. Also,
I haven't gotten a spam since I updated the. I'm getting a lot of maybe John. Maybe John. Oh, hello. Oh, John, the telemarketer. Fuck.
No.
Now I gotta be rude. I don't, you know me, I don't like to be rude.
Yeah, me either. I try to be as amicable as possible at all times.
Do
you
guys know?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, people often tell me that I'm too easygoing.
Heavy Kev says, do you guys know anyone who has died from fentanyl? Sounds like a plague or it's bullshit. I had a son who died.
No. No. Knew, yes. No.
I had a son who died from fentanyl, and he knew better. He knew, he was very well educated on people spiking heroin and all this stuff. But yeah, and lots of young people in my neighborhood, on Long Island, not my neighborhood, but Long Island in general, lots of people in their 30s for about, I haven't heard of any recently, but for about 5 or 6 years, they were dropping like flies. Yeah, I know lots of people who died from fentanyl spiked heroin is basically what it is. And I don't think it's bullshit. I do think, this was a thing because if you're a drug dealer, you don't want to kill your customers, right?
No,
you want to keep them alive.
Business. You need so it doesn't make sense. You need repeat business.
Yeah, they're not the ones doing it. I mean, it's where they're getting it from, right? Is because this isn't medical fentanyl anyway. It's not medical grade fentanyl. Medical grade fentanyl is not that potent.
Right.
It's pretty fucking potent, but it's not that potent. I mean, you can give 25 mics of fentanyl or micrograms. Yeah, and people do, for pain control, and it's very quick. It doesn't last long.
And it doesn't come from Venezuela. It comes from Mexico. It comes from Colombia. It comes from Honduras. Places like
China.
That.
It comes from China.
China.
Get it through the mail.
So China is sending it to Venezuela and then putting it on fishing boats.
Technically, I think China is sending the ingredients to Mexico and they're making it there. Like China's not exporting the actual fentanyl. They're like, it's like IKEA furniture, it's like IKEA furniture. China is sending them the Oestenbud, and then Oestenbud get an Allen wrench. And when it gets to Mexico, they take the Allen wrench and they make the fentanyl from the kit.
Okay.
And the reason why
you say Allen wrench, and I've always said Allen wrench, but I'm wondering, it is no Allen.
Is it really Allen's?
Right. So it was an L, because it's shaped like an L, right? So I think it was originally called the L wrench, and some dude just like, oh, it must be Al. You say an Allen, right? I'm right about that. Tell me I'm right about that. Allen
don't
wrench.
think so.
Really, I'm wrong.
He might be right.
I think the Allen wrench was invented by Steve Allen.
Huh.
Did your parents or
Sure.
grandparents ever say words that they used for everything? Like
Yeah.
if they said, can you shut that door? Or can you hand me that? But they couldn't find the words, so they would just use something else, but you had to know what they were talking about.
Like who'd you gidget? Like smooch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
My
grandpa had one.
grandparents didn't, but I do know. I do actually. Most of the people I became aware of that were like my white friends.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Them
I'm trying to
damn
think.
white
I'm sure my
friends.
mother. I'm sure. Okay, my mother, I think, probably said that damn thing, or you know what I'm talking about. Don't fuck with me, boy.
Just hand it to me, and you're like,
Yeah.
Okay, I said Steve Allen is actually William G. Allen.
Woody Allen.
William G. Allen.
Oh, really? He invented
yeah.
the Allen wrench, and that's why they call it the Allen.
Allen Manufacturing Company.
Wow. All right. Good for him. Is he still cashing in?
1910. I think he's cashed in.
He's cashed out.
Cashed out.
Cashed out.
Sure.
I think he cashed in and bought the farm with it.
All right. Well, here's the word my grandpa used, and I don't think I've ever met anybody who's ever heard of this word before. He would say, "Hand me that washcot," and you had to know what he was talking about. He wouldn't get mad about it,
Yeah.
but knowing him forever, you're like, "Oh, he just means this."
Give me. I think my grandpa used to say, "Give me the cock." That's not true. My grandpa wasn't that way. I'm just washcock.
Now, my mother,
that washcot.
Now, my mother.
Precursors. Wait, I just want to say precursors are. Okay, go ahead.
My mother was good with the hand gestures, and we learned to identify
my mind
those.
moved somewhere else real quick. He was like, "My mother was good with the hand job," and I was like, "What job? Hit up gesture." Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so she would go.
Dr. Giorgini was good with the hand gesture. He'd turn your head and cough.
Because like at one point she couldn't remember any of our names except for my nephew, her first grandchild. She never forgot Mark's name. Everybody else was like that, and we all had our individual gestures, and so we knew who she meant,
Yeah,
because like my mother was like some kind of.
My mother would go through every name in the family, like extended family, cousins, uncles. She would just run down the list. Sooner or later, she was going to hit the right one. Like she would call on your name, and
well, at one point she would just say Mark, even if Mark wasn't in the room. That was like the only name she knew for some reason. So she'd go like Mark, and like, Mom, Mark lives in Georgia. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. You get that for me.
So precursors from China. Precursors. That's like before you say fuck, you gotta. There's a precursor.
You have to fluff it.
So,
yeah,
mother is a precursor. It comes before fucker, right? So that's a precursor, right?
But then you also have the postcursors because sucker comes after cock.
Oh, but cock's not a curse, is it? It's a faucet. It's a faucet, like Farrah faucet, Farrah cock. It's all the same thing.
I think you're thinking of that Muslim guy who was always hating on whites and Jews. That was Farrakhan, right? Minister Farrakhan.
Precursors from China, just like meth down here. Meth down here. It sounds like somebody with a lip. Meth down here. We don't have meth is where John lives. It's like the middle of the country shit. That's
yeah. The more closer you get to usually the Indiana Michigan border, there's huge meth.
I think the coast, and I never understood why coastal, like the East Coast and the West Coast, don't have like the meth problem. It's really like
because they have crack.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know drugs. I don't know drugs.
Yeah, I don't never seen a whole. I've seen one meth head, really, one absolutely orange meth head. It was orange, half gray, in an emergency room one time. But that's the only time I've known that I've really seen a meth head in New York State.
I haven't worked in the ER since 2009.
Is that when they canceled your show?
Yeah. It was.
How was it working with Clooney?
You know what? He was actually really pleasant. Yeah, actually a really nice guy. Pretty humble. I think that's because he was a minor star on Roseanne very early on.
Now, was he as ugly as I think he? Because he really looks unattractive to me when I see him from the close-ups. I think. Oh. So was
he was on? Wasn't he on Family Ties? He was Nick Mallory's boyfriend or something.
No, different guy. Totally different guy.
No, come on. Who was Nick?
I think you're thinking of Dennis Leary, Matt.
The guy who played Nick on Family Ties is not George Clooney.
Who played Nick?
He was in like one movie after that where it was like he was a cursed guy who would turn into a demon. It's like called Demon Lover or some shit.
All right. You know what? I'm very culturally unhip. Nick Moore, who was he played by? Played by
It's just that's not George Clooney.
Scott Valentine. Nick Moore was played by Scott Valentine? Really? That I never heard of Scott Valentine. Did you ever hear of Scott Valentine? Until before now, I mean.
No. Just from
Demon.
No, but speaking of Family Ties, the guy who played their next door Skippy, excellent stand-up comedian. Very fucking funny.
Really?
Yeah, I saw him in Vegas and he was killing.
He'd be like 70 years old now. No,
he's like my age. He's like 52, I bet.
Really?
5 maybe.
What?
Yeah, because the girl who was the oldest, Justine Bateman, I think she's like 2 years older than me. I think she's my older brother's age, and I'm like the younger girl's age.
You ever watch that Ozark show? That's the last show I watched on television.
I need to watch it. People say it's good. I haven't seen it.
It was a little creepy, a little weird, but that was like a what was that, meth? They were dealing drugs in the Ozarks. They got hooked up with some Mexican cartel or something. And he was, I don't know how he got hooked up. I don't remember it. My wife couldn't stand watching it. It was evil. It was.
It sounds up my lane. Then I keep thinking about watching it. Yeah,
I think the best thing about that show was the evolution of Laura Linney. Her character, how her character evolved from the innocent, I don't know anything about anything wife to the you're not running this fucking business right.
I gotta see Laura Linney.
That's like the same thing with Breaking Bad, Weeds.
Oh yeah. Oh, Laura Linney. I don't remember her. Who was she? She was his wife. She was Justin Bateman's wife in the thing. Is that?
Yes.
She was fucking the boss who got thrown out of the window or something. Her own. His partner or something in the early. Maybe I'm just ruining it for people, but in very early episodes,
you're fucking it all up. So I mean, it doesn't sound like you know too much about it, so you're probably not ruining it.
It's been a long time. I mean, it started a long time ago, right?
Matt gets plots from Ozark and Looney Tunes mixed up all the time. It's like, they threw him out the window and an anvil landed on him, and it's like, and boing, a piano fell from the sky.
Has an anvil ever really landed on anybody? I know.
Yeah.
Wait.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the time, and he still bounces back. It's pretty amazing.
But each time he's a little bit more brain damaged.
You know the thing with, how did you guys feel about? I know it's a weird segue, but how did you guys feel about it? Like I fucking hated the Roadrunner. I just wanted Wile E. Coyote to fucking catch him.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much in the same boat there. That little meep was fucking annoying.
Same thing with Tweety Bird. I was like, God, I fucking hate Tweety. I goddamn fucking hate Tweety Bird.
Well, Roadrunner, I kind of like because that was kind of like me as a kid. I was
annoying as fuck, and people were chasing you to kill you.
I had to keep. I could not really defend myself very well as a child, but I could run, and I could run and I could hide. And I would like throw things at people from, once they run past me, I would throw things at them and then keep running, because I didn't want them to think.
Did you give people a reason to want to kill you? Like, did you meep at them as you were running past? That's set the fuck up with that.
I was
meep.
I was just a very awkward child, and people were annoyed by the fact that I was just awkward because I couldn't relate. I didn't relate to things the same way other people did.
Yeah, but were you an arrogant piece of shit like the Roadrunner and Tweety Bird?
No.
Okay.
No, I was too young to be arrogant. I was just trying to get by. You know,
right.
but on the other hand, if you picked on me, I wasn't going to just roll over. You know, so I had when I was in the first grade, my first day of first grade.
Wait, roll over first. You said you have to roll over. Roll over.
My first day of first grade at the new school, I had my allowance for the day in my hand. I couldn't spend more than that because my mother gave us like 35 cents or something. 25 cents was for lunch and 10 cents was to spend for like a candy bar, potato chips, whatever. And so in the morning I'd spend a nickel and after school I'd spend a nickel. But that day my mother didn't have change, so she gave me 50 cents. So I had a quarter in my hand, but I could only spend a nickel of that quarter.
Oh, I wouldn't trust you.
And I'm standing in line with the quarter, and this third grader says to me, "Give me your quarter,
bitch."
And I said to him, "Why don't you earn it like your mother and suck my dick?" Now,
whoa.
I was a first grader when I said that. Everybody else in the store went, "Ooh!" Except for the kid that I said that to. He proceeded
so
to
his mother
beat
sucked
my
your
ass.
dick for a quarter? Is that the?
And I don't know where I learned that from, because to this day I can't think of any place where I've heard that expression. But that was the first thing that rolled off my mouth.
Did you ride a school bus? Did you ride the school bus?
No, I walked to school.
Okay. I was like, I heard some awesome shit on the school bus because of course, high schoolers are on the school bus with the little kids because you get dropped off at different time intervals.
Right.
So being a little kid you heard some fucking crazy shit come out of the high schoolers bus. So that's what your point of reference was, to insult people.
Well, I knew how to insult people because, like, I was the youngest kid. We played the dozens all the time. And my mother had Red Fox albums, Wild Man Steve albums. My mother had some of the raunchy, Negro party albums in the basement.
Okay.
But I can't think of any place where somebody said, "Why don't you earn it like your mother and suck my dick?" That's what I'm saying. It's like it's not like a line. I don't know any place where I learned that line.
Did his mother suck your dick or not?
No, he started to beat me up.
But you still won. That's an awesome.
And I still won because I kept the quarter. I still had the quarter when the fight was over.
The mother got the quarter for not sucking you there. I'm just confused.
No, I kept the quarter. I still had the quarter.
He was
to this day. As a matter of fact, I can't. No.
You still have that quarter?
I still have the quarter. It's a trophy.
All right. I just got a breaking email here. Breaking email news from Nicole. Subject line: Who gets your first cum? Hi, cutie. Has the thought of a double ever made you hard? We are two always turned on babes who want to see what it's like to share a man. We're always dripping just thinking about it. Well, get a fucking towel or something.
Nice
we hope you're open to a double trouble. Will you come over and make us both moan? But if I beat the shit out of you, you'll be moaning. Yes.
Damn. We don't support that type of talk.
We got so turned on filming, and it was just as wild as ever been. Click here to enjoy. No, I'm not doing that. Then I'm gonna get deported.
Yeah, again. That's disgusting. Just forward that to me. I'll take care of it.
All right.
Okay. So in the gallery, there are some Kiwi words that mean everything. Thingies, what's-its, whatchamacallits, doodackies.
Whatchamacallits was big of Brooklyn.
I believe this is
Swan, and you know what? The whatchamacallits, there are people in Brooklyn who would say huddy call. Huddy call. That's their way of saying whatchamacallit. Huddy call. What? The huddy call. I'm sorry. I interrupted GD. He was in a flow of words that I didn't give a shit about.
You hear that, Swan? I was saying what you wrote, and he doesn't give a shit.
I don't give a shit about those words. Where were you reading those words? I don't see those
from
words
the chat.
Chat. I don't see Swan there.
No, I'm there. That's me. Where says Staff Squad 5449. That's me.
Oh, I thought Swan was using your handle.
How dare she? No.
Oh, she's okay. I stand corrected.
That's cool. That's cool.
So, is it time? Can you guys give me some political poetry? Because I want to get warmed up for our guest.
I gave you poetry to start with.
No, political poetry. Like,
Blowing
I
up
don't know.
ships in the sea by Trump isn't political?
I don't know, not really.
Okay.
Political poetry. I'm going to say something that 98% of the people in the United States should say. I don't know enough about politics to make up poetry.
Wow, but not poetry. Poetry is it? I'm listen. There are people who say rhymes, lowbrow poetry. I don't like that poetry that doesn't rhyme. It's maybe I'm just lowbrow, but you just go on with flowers and
People say that
butterflies.
because they can't rhyme very well. They have not mastered the English language, so they say, I do free verse. You just don't get it.
Yeah. That's what I say about everything. You just don't get it. You just don't get it, man. It used to be all about the comedy, man.
Yeah.
Say, I do alternative comedy.
Yeah.
You just don't get
it. I say that, I'm like, you just don't get it.
So the president of the fair, he sent bombs to Venezuela, to blow up a sailor. See, I can't rhyme either. I'm not good at this. This whole poetry and prose, political.
Well,
poetry.
you could. I mean, if you're going to start with failure, the president's a failure. He sent ICE to jail you. I mean, that would have been the logical thing from there.
We just use the old nursery rhymes like dice, hickory, dickory, dock. Trump was sucking Putin's cock.
That's probably accurate. Now, Lindsey Graham,
the clock struck 4.
Would be jealous.
Like a horror.
Right. I think this lady Andrea LeDew, there's I don't know, there's a 51% or maybe 50.1% chance that she might be a Trumper. What do you think about that?
I say give her the benefit of the doubt.
Well, because she's talking about patriotism, right? And
Okay.
anytime
patriotism does not belong to any one party.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
people who talk about patriotism, you can whatever, but people who talk about it. Oh, I think she's here now.
Fuck out when that happens.
Oh no, she doesn't
Now
have
we
a
get to
camera
ask her.
on.
We get to ask her a very important question. Is her name Andrea or Andrea or Andrea or Andrea?
Oh yeah, good point. Good point.
She's from Florida. So that's that.
Yeah, but
because she did that one that was like a little Frenchy Canadian version.
Andrea,
right?
like that.
But is anybody from Florida? It seems like everybody goes.
No, nobody's from.
Speaking of Florida, you guys got to watch this show on HBO. It's called It's Florida, man, and it is so ridiculous.
That's why I didn't watch it. I saw the previews and I'm like, I'm not watching. Like I lived down there.
Well, that's why it's ridiculous. A lot of my patients are from Florida. And I'm just always, every time I get a Florida patient, I'm like, oh, God.
Hold on. Somebody moved from Florida to Michigan. Well, now that's stupid.
No. I have licenses in 44 states. I see patients from all over the country all day.
Oh, you do Zoom shit. I forgot about that. I thought
he still drives. He drives to see his patients in Florida. Then he goes back to Michigan at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's crazy commute. Actually,
yeah,
because I'm a cryptid,
really crazy.
Between
especially since he has an electric car. He has to stop like every 27 minutes to plug in.
So
because that one cord, he did just use the cord, but the cord just kept coming unplugged by the time he got to the edge of Michigan.
Because I'm not very smart. I
want to get to these political poems, but I'm just curious. Let's. I'm in New York and I need a prostate exam. I get you on Zoom, and how do you stick your finger in my
It's called self-direction. I talk you through it. You do it to yourself.
And first thing he says
isn't that the email I just got?
First thing he says is trim your fingernails and put on a glove. You don't want to puncture yourself.
Or maybe you do.
No, you don't. Because that's how sepsis sets in.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wow,
sepsis. I don't even know cis. No, that doesn't.
Yeah, I don't even have. I have a half cis.
Oh,
and you can make your own porn. Why does that keep popping up on my feed? That's very annoying. I've never looked at it.
Are we going to just keep rolling?
No, yeah.
Shall we see if Andrea is ready?
What you want to introduce her and bring her in? Come on.
You can introduce her because I'm not looking at the pros or the cons.
Neither am I. I'm looking at that screen over there. It says Andrea LeDew is Andrea LeDew is the author of Polemics Political Poetry and Prose. The collection is designed to resurrect Americans' love for their country,
Nice.
even during such a chaotic and tumultuous. Look at that, tumultuous. I know that word. Era
You
as
live
we
it.
are
You
living.
know it. You live it.
Tumultuous living. Let's welcome in Andrea, right? Andrea
We should have
LeDew.
asked you, make sure that you're ready. We usually say, if you're ready, give us a thumbs up. So if you're ready for us to bring you in, give it. Okay.
Nah,
Bring her
she's
in,
ready.
man.
She's been ready since last Thursday when I unfortunately asked her to come on this Thursday because I thought we were going to get Rob Reiner last Thursday and we didn't. So we're never going to get him now. But anyway, welcome, man.
Never going to get him.
Andrea.
Never going to get him.
What is it? Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
I will correct it for the record. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
All right. I will correct it for the record. My name is Andrea LeDew.
All right.
However, in many different places, I've been called all the ways you pronounced it. So
That's why
I
I
answer
asked,
to anything.
Because I was raised pronouncing it Andrea, and actually knew a woman whose name, she was much older than me, and she pronounced it Andrea until she met me, and I kept calling her Andrea, and she goes, "That sounds much more exotic. I'm gonna start having people," and she did. She's at like age 50 something. She decided that she was going to be called Andrea instead of Andrea.
Now I forgot how you pronounce your name.
The whole time I spent a year in Germany, and the whole time I was there, I was Andrea Wiegel.
Ooh,
so it does
nice.
Sound better.
Nice.
But I can't choose the name I was given.
Are you from Florida? Because we just put out a I don't know, a claim that nobody is actually from Florida. Are you from Florida?
No, I regret to say I'm not. I moved here when I was about 15. I came from the Midwest.
You've been there for 3 years. You've been there for 3 years now.
She's over 18. She's a lawyer. You can't go to law school and graduate and still.
Yes.
18.
You can.
That was
You
a
just have to
kind
be very
remark.
smart.
Yeah. All right. So this book about polemics, it's poetry and prose about politics. You've been it's a collection that started in 2016. Do I have that correct? 2015, 2016?
That's correct. I've had a blog all this time for about 10 years. And every time a political event would happen that just struck me the wrong way, I would write a poem about it or an essay. And I wrote one short story. And all of those are collected together, all the political pieces that I've written in polemics.
So are you a fan of Andrew Dice Clay?
I'm not much of a fights girl.
Oh, okay. No, can you want to give us if you got a short one you could give us an example of that we could be in awe of?
Of course.
Oh.
Of course. Do you have a particular topic you're interested in?
Anything that starts with hickory dickory dock is fine.
Well, I have been told that I have some resemblance to Dr. Seuss. So
that's exciting.
there is definitely rhyme.
I've been told I
There's
have a
definitely
resemblance to
rhyme.
the Grinch. So
Yes.
we have that in common.
All right. Well, here's one. This is you have to look back in time a little bit to the second impeachment trial of Trump during Trump 1. Okay. This is called round 2, since you were talking about fights, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's immediately after January 6th.
Oh boy.
These sacred walls, these hallowed halls, this solemn marbled chamber, these velvet chairs, these well-worn stairs, and not a hint of danger. This floor where hate becomes debate and log jams, compromises. This gallery of valor rings the valley of the wisest. Now, once again, elected men their arguments impart, that weaponed words, though most absurd, have torn our world apart. They came here first for rivals' dirt, extracted with a truncheon. Against the law, not so, guffaw, a minor lapse of judgment. But now he chose to rend his clothes, to claim his victory stolen. And they, like sheep, his lies believed, stampeding chambers holy. while some stood tall and voted all his rival to anoint. His faulty facts provoked attacks upon the chamber's joint. They prosecute and they salute with video montage his deeds and words, the pleas unheard, cacophonous collage. But when they vote, what part will dote on grease his fragile ego? What circus games? What lion taming? Look, a crime is legal. What faults to find? Who dares opine a slur against this brute? Such calumny could primary your seat. You'd get the boot. Is this high crime? Will he do time? Well, this I highly doubt. For party line prevails. Stop whining. Vote the bastards out.
Ooh. So from I'm just going to assume from that last line that you're not a fan of Donald Trump. Yes?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not sure.
Don't be sorry. You're welcome here. I mean,
Okay.
oh my God, no. But we do have people.
Some conclusions.
There are probably a few people in the chat room, Russ White, who will probably not like you because of that sentiment. But here, that sentiment is always welcome. I
like the review there. Damn, that's deep.
Damn,
that's great.
Damn, that's don't necessarily think he's talking about your poem, although he might be. But he's also underwater. So
enough about his mortgage. Boom.
Yes.
Yeah, he was talking about the poem.
No, yeah, he was.
The mortgages are less expensive now that we're getting rid of the immigrants.
So the question I have is, do you think this is an effective way of getting people, I don't know, involved in thinking about the importance of the political climate that we're in? Because I feel like, and this is an awkward way of saying this, I feel like the people who need to hear that poem, they got stuck. They're still on the first word.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I actually have the audiobook out now, so people don't have to get stuck. They can just listen.
Do you read it?
They were listening to a podcast.
You narrate it yourself?
Yes.
Oh,
yes,
good.
I went to a studio.
Yeah, definitely good.
How about this? I should get it and listen to it while I'm running.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
They didn't even smile. That was the best joke I've ever told. Because the joke here is I barely walk.
So Andrea,
yes.
About how young were you when you first realized you had the knack for poetry?
Oh my goodness. I think I wrote my first poem when I was like in 4th grade.
Do you remember?
And I can still remember it. It's patterned after Robert Louis Stevenson's poem, The Shadow. I don't know if you know The Shadow. A shadow goes in and out with me, and what can
who knows what
use of him is more than I can see. So mine was, I have a little play ball. I like it. You can see. I play with it all day, but it never plays with me. It's my first poem.
Really good.
I know
they've gotten a little better.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts and minds of men? The shadow do.
Shadow do. I don't think that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Now, when I was in high school, actually, I started writing poetry when I was very, very young as well. But most of mine was
about your mom.
Most of mine was like filthy, and I used to get paid to write cards for my aunt, who also had a very filthy mouth. And so she used to pay me like $5 a card, I think. Or was it $5? She used to pay me per card, and I would illustrate it and write the poem for her, and she'd send them off to her friends.
Oh, wonderful. My mother, who was also a poet, she wrote a lot of her own poetry, had some publishing success, but mostly was mom. But she started off at American Greetings, and she was actually writing the verses inside the cards. So, it's in the blood.
All right,
now why did you decide to stick with poetry? Only reason I'm asking is because when I was in high school, I came to the realization that even though all of my teachers said I was very good at poetry, I realized that no one was going to give a shit about my poetry unless I was dead or famous. And so I decided to become a musician. That way I could write the poems, turn them into songs. Once I became famous as a musician, people would want to know about the songs, the poems that became the songs. Why did you
How'd that
stick
work
with
out?
poetry as opposed to becoming a musician?
How'd that work out? Are you rich and famous?
Yeah, maybe I'm not that good of a musician.
I
You
was,
can ask
neither
my
am
piano
I.
teacher. My
Neither
piano
am I.
teacher still follows my blog, and she's been following it, for years. And I was just one of those kids who could not bring herself to practice until like the day of the lesson. So there was always a week of non-practice, and then I'd come, and then I'd just stumble through the piece. So my sister was the musician, not me.
The
So,
two of us have been like a songwriting team, like Heart. You could have written the lyrics and she could have done the music.
Yes.
was that the
Well,
way
life
Heart worked?
intervened. I
What
ended
did
up
you
going
do?
to law school. So
Why did you do that?
I didn't do anything. My hands are right here on my chair.
No, I think you did that.
No, I did that.
How did you do that? Oh,
I have
yeah,
no
okay,
idea.
you could do that. So now, how's the book structured? Is it do you have it categorized by like I don't know, Republican, Democrat, or what are the how do you structure, or is it just random one poem after another?
well, that would have been interesting if I had done it Republican Democrat, because I have a feeling one section would have been quite a bit larger than the other. But I actually did it chronologically. So
Makes sense.
as my website went through, I would post things at the time that the incident happened. I would get some feedback from people who saw it on Facebook or whatever. And a lot of people were interested, but not a lot of people were seeing it. So I wanted to gather everything together, especially at the beginning of this year, when it became clear, at least to me, that this administration was going to be very different from previous administrations and was not necessarily going to be as strict about abiding by the rules that we usually hold our presidents to.
No way.
And we got a preview of that in Trump 1.0, but there was a lot of control. There were a lot of people around him who were telling him, yes, you can go this far, no further. But now there just seem to be a lot of people who want to change things that I think should remain the same.
Yeah, like the
In
Constitution.
other words, that's what conservatives
Yeah, like
used
the
to
Constitution.
do. Conservatives used to do that. There's some things they wanted to conserve to keep, to keep the country relatively sane.
Yeah.
And I think conservatives, people who consider themselves conservative, still feel that way. They still feel very loyal to the Constitution. They want small government. They want a lot of, fiscal control, things like that. I can get on board with all those things.
Yeah, but there's only nine of
I'm a
them left.
centrist liberal. I believe in social liberalism. So I want equal rights for everybody, basically. I want women to have rights over their own bodies.
Yeah.
But as far as I don't want too much spending that we ruin our country fiscally. I want things to still be reasonable.
Yeah. I agree with you. Women should have rights over their own bodies and over some men. So,
That's why we try.
I think there's a big because the words liberal, conservative, and progressive and whatever, they get thrown around, and a lot of the people since Trump decided to run the first time use the word conservative to describe themselves, and they are not anywhere near what I would think of as conservative. They don't even understand. They think conservative means loyal to Trump, where that's not what conservatism was ever about. And I'm one of these people who think we need conservatives and liberals, an equal balance of it to kind of stabilize the country. I think we need voices from both sides, but both sides don't exist anymore. You have liberals, you have a very few real conservatives, and then you have populists who are just game show wrestling fans and reality TV fans who think
Mhm.
they're conservatives, and they're not at all.
Mm-mm.
I would just wonder how, because one of the talking points that we've gotten some of our videos comments on this about, well, the Democrats didn't have a primary in 2024, and so they're totally against democracy because they didn't have a primary. And I feel like that is the lamest talking point. I just want to get your perspective on this. I'm just going to tell you my perspective really quickly. I think it's a lame talking point because there were no challenges to Joe Biden. Like RFK Jr. and Marianne Williamson, they weren't going to get like 0.5% of the vote between the two of them. And there was nobody else stepping up saying, I want to primary him. When he stepped down, Harris was the only choice. There wasn't like anybody challenging her, so it wasn't like anybody was calling for a primary. The party pretty much got behind her immediately. So that whole idea of, well, you didn't have a primary, so you can't be for democracy. What do you have any takes on that talking point that is overused? That, well, you didn't have a primary.
Well, it was a very unusual primary season.
Right.
That is not the way things are supposed to go. It sounds like there were a lot of mistakes made by different parties, including Biden.
I think
as
Joe
far as
Biden is to blame
waiting
for that.
too long.
Yeah.
If we had
Definitely
waited less long, then we would have had a primary. It would have been very kosher, and everybody would have been perhaps more behind the candidate after that.
Yeah.
I
When
still
they-
winnowing
maintain that Biden
process.
should have- I maintain that Biden should have resigned after year 3 on purpose, leaving
I
Harris.
thought you
in
said you
charge.
originally said after like a year or a couple of months he should have resigned and given her like 4 years.
No,
I
I'm
think
saying
that was,
before. No, not this. No, because he needed to get stuff done. So it took like 2 or 3 years, and then with a year to 6 months left, he resigns. And then now Harris is the president, and people can see that having a woman president doesn't mean the country is going to fall apart. And that dispels like a third of the people who are reluctant to vote for her because now they see her as presidential because she's president.
yeah.
Well, I have several poems about this period of time. My first poem is called I want to say Gray Gallows, something like that. And that's about two ships. And I'm using that metaphor to describe Trump and Biden trying to go on a collision course toward each other, both of them aging, both of them somewhat, decrepit, either in mind or body.
So they're old wood ships with sails.
Right, because they're not that different in age, although Trump obviously is much more vibrant most of the time. And then I had another poem that was called Laughing, which was about Kamala being, the first person who, well, not the first other than Hillary, the first person who got that far as a female candidate in the presidential race, and about how our children, our girl children, would laugh and be happy if a woman were elected president. I think that that's just something people my age have waited for all our lives, and it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she was the perfect candidate, but that is a
There are no
milestone
perfect
that most Western countries have already passed by.
Yeah,
And
You know what's
there are no
surprising to
perfect
me?
candidates. So
The idea that laughter would be seen as a negative. Oh, look, she laughs. We can't have that. We can't have somebody who laughs.
Yeah.
What the hell? Like, I want somebody to laugh. To me, please find something to laugh about. We need stuff to laugh about. And if you have a good laugh, like her laugh, I want to laugh along with. So,
Yeah, and of course, as a person trained as a lawyer, I respect people who actually understand how the law works.
Yeah.
And as a person who, even though she was a prosecutor, she certainly is well aware of victims' rights, of not only victims' rights, but also perpetrators' rights, and it seems like if you give the government to people who don't really appreciate the nuances of that, you can run into a lot of trouble. It seems like they jump first, and then they find out later that they really shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
The
Well, one of the
problem
important things,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
something that's really important, even if you're someone, other countries have very intelligent leaders. There's a lot of countries that have very intelligent leaders. And then you compare them to ours, who doesn't have two brain cells to rub together. That is something that can occur, but then you surround yourself with people who are intelligent and have morals, and you could get by and actually do some good for the country. I'm not saying Ronald Reagan was dumb, but he definitely surrounded himself with some people of intelligence. So that's what you need to do. And you always utilize your most valuable resources for the good of others, which is what they totally didn't do. And so instead, he surrounded himself with a bunch of yes people who also didn't have two brain cells to rub together. And that's, part of the issue. You need to have someone who's doing quality control on your actions if you're in charge of freaking country. If you are responsible for one person, someone needs to be making sure that you're doing the right thing if it's not you.
Yeah.
The problem with
I agree.
because there are some very smart people behind Trump. They're just not in the cabinet, because this is the problem I have with bad lawyering. Let's say Trump says, I want to get rid of birthright citizenship. Okay, most people go, that's in the Constitution. Why would you want to do that? But somewhere in the back of Trump's posse is a lawyer that says, the way this is worded, legally, we have a shot at overturning this if we just do this and word it such. Those are the lawyers.
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
agree. I mean, I think that law is being used for very nefarious purposes
Yeah, yeah.
and disingenuously
Yeah.
against, the interests of the American public. And it's
Um,
partially that, just the very fine wording and the, the
So
plane
be-
already took off. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, because there was a thing and I studied law at the School of Law and Order, dunk. So
Dum blum.
yeah, I've got 20 years of studying law and order, dunk, 20 years of that. There's a letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and even though the letter of the law is what is actually written, it's understood that okay, maybe they missed a word, so they're not. Yeah, there's a loophole in there, but it doesn't mean that killing somebody while you're committing a crime is legal. Okay, that was not what they meant by that. So.
Yes.
There's
What?
a copyright strike that we've been trying to get all day.
All right.
Is that your sermon music? Is that when somebody starts? No,
the
I
whole time.
thought that was very
So
reasonable.
that poem that you read us, it did have a Dr. Seuss sort of quality, or at least rhythm to it. How about this? Get together with an animator and actually create some Dr. Seuss type of little cartoons with those poems.
Or I smell a Broadway musical.
Ah,
There
very
you go.
cool.
So need
so-
collaborators.
I'll find you somebody out there. Next to this audience, we got tons of animators and choreographers and whatever creatives.
Wonderful.
If there's going to be a Democratic primary and for the Democratic Party, and I think Harris says she's open to running again. Looks like Newsom is going to be. Who do you think would be the challenge if there is an election in 2028? Who do you think the Democrats would put up
for vice president?
I think definitely. Yeah, you mean who will be the
who would be the nominee for the Democratic Party in 2028 if there's an election?
Who's your choice? Let's not play prognosticator. So let's say, who would you like to see?
I liked Amy Klobuchar. I liked Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I like Gavin Newsom is okay. He's very California. He's I'm trying to think who else has been really the guy in Chicago. He seems like a contender. The mayor,
Obama?
Yeah.
No.
No,
the
JD Pretzel, right?
Pritzker, I think it is. Yeah. He seems pretty good. I'm impressed with any of the cities who have kind of pushed back against these military invasions or whatever they are with ICE.
Wow.
I think this idea of militarization of the homeland is very disturbing and
Yeah.
Well, don't
and
compare
needs to
him to
be
Hitler.
gotten rid
God,
of.
yeah, please don't compare him to Hitler, even though he's doing everything Hitler actually did, like absolutely everything.
Well,
The question I have was,
oh,
do you know, was Hitler stupid? I mean, Hitler had obviously some charisma, but my German isn't good enough to know whether he was just an idiot like Trump. The original Hitler, the first mold, was he stupid and inarticulate and just like crazy like Trump, or was he more intelligent?
I think he was a captivating orator.
mhm.
Like Trump. Yeah, I mean, he had a following. He also pulled at the prejudices of the people at the time. There was a lot of anti-Jewish prejudice in Germany after the First World War. There was terrible inflation and joblessness and all kinds of bad economic factors that he played upon. And he also was unscrupulous. I mean, to my eyes, anyway, that, supposedly his people planned the Reichstag fire and they had Kristallnacht. I mean, there were just things that were just. But I've also read, if you've ever read Hannah Arendt, which I just finished like a selection of her work, not even an entire book of hers, but a large compendium. And the Jewish people in Germany, their rights were never full. They were Europe was just not a welcoming place for Jews, and they lacked a lot of the civil rights that we would expect.
Yeah,
and so it was not hard, I guess, to convince people that they were lesser, because they were already treated that way. And this is the fear I have in our country, is that, how many people know the pickers on the local farm
right.
who come from another country. It's easy to say foreigners should not be here, or they're taking our jobs, or whatever the slogan of the day is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Now, you spent time in Germany, correct? Yes.
Yes, I did. It was 1984, 85. So Reagan was president. That was fun, being an American in Europe.
Did you get
during
pieces
Reagan's
of the wall
presidency.
when you left? Did you get pieces of the wall when they tore it down? Were you there when the wall was torn down?
The wall came down a little bit later, about 5 years later. I did get sent a piece of the wall, and I had it in a brown paper bag, and then it's somewhere like in my many brown boxes that are from various moves. So I know it's here somewhere, but
so how could you verify that it's a piece of the wall? And what do you think? Do you think you get something for it on Pawn Stars?
I would never.
This is American sheetrock.
I would never get rid of it. That's gold. That's like
to Gigi's point about verification. They could have sent you just a piece of any cement wall, and you would probably say, "Oh yeah, it smells like a wall."
Okay, now this is just straight up capitalism on my part. When Notre Dame burned to the ground, I thought that was a great opportunity for them to take the ashes and sell them on Ash Wednesday, because what better ashes would be than the Church of Notre Dame, to have your ashes be from there,
How could
Yeah.
that be holy? Yeah, I'm Catholic as well, so I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm thinking that's what they should have done. And I was like, and I had friends who went over there at the time and said, "Get me some of the ashes. I have a great business deal for you."
So is it too late for me to get in on the scam? Like, I can go on eBay
Damn,
today and
I'm
start
not talking
selling.
about scamming.
Well, no, but I am talking about scam. So you're talking about if they would have had the original, but I could just like get a bag of ashes and sell it and say it's from Notre Dame, right? And I could get like pieces of
No, because
concrete,
there's
say for the
DNA. The
wall,
wood has
and go on
DNA.
eBay.
The ashes and the ashes from that would have a different characteristic than ashes from you were probably burning your backyard from the cats and chickens and wood that you have.
Yeah, but who's going to
That
run that?
sounds-
There's plenty of people who buy Trump tennis shoes and the Trump phone that still isn't out. Nobody's going to run DNA testing on ashes you send them.
There you go.
Hmm.
If they
So
will,
I'm
they're
with,
trying
thank
to
you,
look.
John. John trying to
Here's the-
encourage
okay,
me, trying to
this is
kill
what
my
would happen.
dream.
This is what would happen. Matt would overcharge people. All of a sudden, Matt's a millionaire. Somebody goes, "Matt's a millionaire. I want that $1 million. So I'm going to have my ashes tested for 50 or 60 bucks. And if it's not legit, I'm taking Matt's money."
Yeah, but you would already have to have the DNA from ashes from
When you
Notre
say
Dame to be able to compare
somebody,
them.
you mean like somebody
Me.
who would like steal my intellectual property?
I said me.
You mean you? Yeah,
You
okay,
ain't me.
that's fine.
Because I know it's a scam, especially since you just stole my idea of how to make money from Notre Dame's ashes.
Well, then I
And the
guess
wall. Don't forget the wall.
then that just makes you Tesla, and that makes him freaking Edison.
Edison. All right.
More like Pedersen.
And yeah.
Well,
First
I
of all-
remember. I remember the night that Notre Dame burned, and I was part of a short story writing club at the time, 100-word short stories, so flash fiction. And every week we would write. And that week I wrote about Notre Dame, and it was about a little boy who was playing Chopin on his piano in Paris. And gosh, am I going to remember the French word? But there's a tristesse is the Chopin piece, which is
Wow.
very sad music. So it basically ended in the tune from the piano piece because it was just so tragic. It's
you living in Florida, because I get this this vision of Florida is just like crazy state to be in, but a very red state. Are you overwhelmed? I mean, where you live, do you walk out your door and see Trump flags everywhere?
during the election, there were a lot of them, a lot of trucks with Trump flags on the back, stuff like that. We live in Jacksonville, which is the northeast corner of Florida, and it is very Republican. However, we have a Democratic mayor.
Wow.
So the government right now is not entirely red. I would say city council is 75% red.
Wow.
But we
Miami
have
just got
a
Democratic
you
mayor.
know,
Miami
have
just
a
got
large-
Democratic mayor down there.
Yeah. So maybe it's not as red as I thought it was, because I just assume like I still have Trump flags in my neighborhood, like people they're keeping them up, like so it's a little. It just makes
I've lived in different parts of Florida. I've lived in Central Florida, which was relatively conservative.
Where the crackers live.
Yeah, it was kind of between Tampa and Orlando, so not actually in a city. And I've also lived in South Florida, which was very liberal and very multicultural. Just amazing, people from
That's where the
all the
good food is.
islands,
All the good-
everywhere, South
The best food is
America.
in South Florida.
Yeah, lots of really cool cars too. People are making money down there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that until the Trump election, Florida was going pretty purple. And I think Trump kind of swung the pendulum the other way. So it's a little more red than it is blue, but I'd say in my part of the state, it's very, very red.
Now, I'm curious, when you were living in South Florida, did you by chance take the opportunity to learn to salsa or?
Oh, I wish I had. I must still learn that. I know I had
Or
a
the
Zumba
lambada.
video once and I was
Wait a minute.
trying.
Learn to salsa. What does that mean? Like you get on a chip?
And do the dance.
Yes.
Oh,
Or the
I thought it-
lambada, the forbidden dance.
a
Yes.
salsa. It's salsa. It's not. It's a dip. No.
They actually had there's kind of like an aircraft carrier that's parked in downtown Jacksonville on the river. We had the St. John's River going through, and on that ship they had a dance that was, I can't remember what the cause was that they were supporting, but it was basically a Puerto Rican dance that was very specialized, and that was the main thing they were going to do there. But it was all kinds of, beautiful music and fun times. I didn't get to go, but it looked like a great time.
Wow. Now, in reading about your book, I see the word patriot comes up a lot, and this is a word that the right wing has adopted. As if you're not right wing, you're not a patriot, and all this stuff. And the book cover seems very patriotic looking. Have a lot of right wingers picked up your book and left like really like, oh, it reads like a liberal wrote this.
Well, you
You
would think, but I haven't had that kind of feedback.
Wow.
So I expect if they find out that it's a liberal leaning book, they just don't pick it up at all.
Yeah.
But I have talked to various podcasts that were more right leaning, and I always found that there was common ground. I mean, there are things that everybody agrees on, like the nation is too divided. We're in separate camps. We're in our own bubbles. Social media is not necessarily working in our best interests all the time.
All the time, anytime, right?
Yeah.
The
executive in the United States has gained power over time, more and more. And this is the latest iteration.
Right.
And so I think there's a lot we can agree on. I have one poem that's called Liberal Wish List. And I wrote it in response to the Speaker of the House or the head of the Senate during Trump 1.0. He said something like, "Oh, those liberals, they have a liberal wish list, and we're not going to let them have anything that's on there." And so I just wrote a list of the things that I, as a liberal, want, and every one of them is a unifying thing. It's like, I wish there wasn't an L word. I wish we could get along, and it goes from there.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
I want to go back to the Puerto Rican dances on the boat real quick.
Sure.
I have two candidates to see if either one of these are there's a dance called the Bomba. That's the national dance, BOMBA. And then there's Plena, PLENA. If I'm pronouncing it wrong, guys, I apologize. Do any of those two sound familiar?
I think it's a different one. I'm pretty sure it's not either of those. I wish I had the information at my fingertips, but I can always send it to you.
well, fortunately, GD's going to come stand up now and give us some examples. Go ahead, GD. Take it away. Do the dance.
I'm not. No, I don't dance before drinking.
Yeah. And besides, all of his dances involve a pole.
Oh dear.
Can I give my wish list for Democratic candidates?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody else gave theirs. I mean, everybody else didn't give theirs.
I didn't give one. Nobody gave.
That's what I said. Nobody else gave. We just had. God damn it, Andrea. Did I say it right? I already forgot how to pronounce it because GD sent out throughout.
Andrea.
Throughout freaking 10 different pronunciations, and now I'm like, God damn you. Here's my pick. Either Kamala or Gretchen with Buttigieg.
Damn, you see.
Yes. Why didn't she pick Buttigieg?
Yes.
She would have won.
Yes, that was my list. That's why I didn't. Yes, that's it.
Oh, okay.
We both had the exact same. Yes. The only difference is I would have looked better saying it, but yeah.
Oh,
we both agreed.
I can read that liberal wish list poem if you want me to.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, please.
Sure?
Do
Got
it.
time?
Go.
Okay. Liberal wish list. It's much shorter. I wish there was not an L word. I wish we could get along. I wish we could get past talking points. I wish we could all belong. I wish we could feed the hungry. I wish we could get rich too. I wish we could live as neighbors. I wish for a smile from you. I wish that I understood you. I wish I could call you friend. I wish we could work together and compromise, stretch and bend. For all of my wistful wishing, no matter the circumstance, whatever is on my wish list, you're certain to vote against.
Bleeding Heart Utopian.
That is straight out of Groucho Marx's. Whatever it is, I'm against it.
Well,
Bedtime
there's one thing
walkout.
that we cannot agree on, and now I agree with you on that. I wish we could feed the hungry, whatever that line was. But obviously, there are people who think that
I can't
let-
believe they stopped food
Here's the-
stamps.
I,
I mean,
I
They
think
like
the
starving
difference
people.
is I think the difference is progressives and people who care want to feed the hungry food, and the rich and the far right who don't care want to feed the hungry to the rich. So there's a slight difference. I mean, yes, they both sides want to feed the hungry. It's just a matter of what happens after that.
Well, the part that doesn't make sense to me is you need the working class, right? Even in slavery, they didn't let the slaves starve because they needed them out there in the field. You don't want a weak slave, right? So why they want to keep the poor starving when they rely on the poor to get their hands dirty and do the jobs that they would never want to do? It doesn't make any sense. You don't want to starve the workers. You want the workers to work. You want them to be, maybe you don't want them eating prime rib, but you want them to have a full belly. Why would take away, their lifeline?
You wonder if they've ever heard of Versailles.
Yeah.
What
They
my
make
biggest
really good
takeaway from
clothing.
that, my wish from that list that you said, I totally agree with. I too want to belong.
Mhm.
Huh.
Oh, I've lost so many friends. It's
I'm
not
happy
even
now.
funny. They're
Intentionally
just people
or
you
unin-
can't talk to at all.
Yeah. I cut them out of my life as of November 6th of last year, or the day after
Hmm.
the election results, because I knew I can't listen to this for 4 years. It's and some of them actually admitted they knew he was a Nazi, because I came up with this like not a trap, but just kind of a verbal. That a dog always can identify its owner, right? We understand that. Why do so many Nazis identify Hitler as their leader? Well, maybe they realize, like a dog, they can spot the one that they should be following, the one who is their leader. And I had several people say, yeah, I know he's a Nazi. I just like him. Well, I can't keep you in my life. I'm sorry if you
that
support.
should be a disqualifier, I think.
Yeah. And that whole idea, because well, he likes shoes. It's not the Jews were never the issue. It was having a scapegoat. The Jews were Hitler's a scapegoat, but now he has brown people, and it's the same thing. It's just not it's by a different name. It's still a scapegoat. So the Nazism is still there, and it's still plain to see. And so that part of it is a deal breaker. How can you be friends? I would like to call you my friend, but then I find out you're a Nazi. I can't be a friend with a Nazi. That makes me a Nazi. Good
That's
people.
like They Might Be Giants song. I don't know if you guys know that.
Yeah.
He's talking about going to the party with him and his Nazi friends.
Right.
It's like, no, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
Here's the interesting thing about all that, though, in my opinion. When you look at Nazi Germany, when you look at that snapshot and compare it to now, there is one glaring difference that I don't know that anybody is pointing out, which is very important. The Nazi party, the Nazis, were young men.
Yeah.
Very young men. Young men are pretty fucking stupid. They are full of testosterone. They want to fight. They want war. They want all kinds of goofy shit. When these young men were growing up, you have to remember that the military was restricted on how big it could be, and they were still some of them were romanticizing World War I because they missed out on World War I. Now, Adolf Hitler was in World War I. He was like a courier or messenger or something like that. So he had that as part of his appeal. Right?
Allure, yeah.
As a soldier myself, you know, I can remember being 18 years old and growing up in, you know, the 70s and 80s. I was in the military with people who were in Vietnam. Those people could do no wrong. So when you emulate people like that and you take an entire force of people and then you take someone who's relatively lazy but a good orator and surrounds himself with dumbass young men, it was understandable that these guys were going to get full reign and do whatever the fuck they want. What people don't realize is a lot of those groups like the SS and all those other things, that's not the military. That wasn't the German military. That's a paramilitary group. What Hitler did was he's like, hey, you dumb young guy who doesn't understand shit, I'm going to give you all the power in the world because I'm fucking lazy and let you do whatever I want. And you're going to put it in front of me. And I'm methed out of my head all the time to stay awake. And I'm going to let you do whatever you want. And I'm an evil person too. But if it looks good, it looks good. But he had plausible deniability and a lot of shit too. So he let all these morons go play army basically, and then take all of their hate that they had and manifest it on other groups. The difference now is these guys have no fucking excuse. They're not young men pumped up on testosterone who are fucking stupid. They're older men and they're making all these same stupid mistakes, which just straight up means that they're fucking evil and retarded. I'm not gonna say the word. They're evil.
I do have a son with disabilities, so
you know, they're evil and stupid.
Try to use good language.
Yeah.
I think that I had heard that Hitler also recruited from prisons and jails and stuff like that. So there were people who already had some, you know, antisocial behavior going on. And
well, the three ICE agents that beat me up were and I didn't ask them for ID, but I would, if I had to estimate, I wouldn't say none of them were over 22 years old. But I a big part of like the ICE and the National Guard that are going around just acting like paramilitary, they do look older. But the guys who beat me up were definitely 22, 23 years old.
Where did this happen?
About a month ago, I do paint parties, and on the way home from a paint party, I happen to be in a bad neighborhood on Long Island where there has been some gang activity, and I went into a Mexican deli to get a bottle of water because I was thirsty, and I come out with a bottle of water, and a guy in a black mask starts yelling at me. I don't know what he's yelling at me. He's asking me for ID. I found out later, but at the time, I'm like, what the hell? And he's just barking at me, and I'm thinking I'm getting robbed. And then I figure out that he's asking me for ID, and I didn't have it in my pocket. It was in my car, so I took a step towards my car. He hit me or started grabbing me, and we were wrestling. And then another guy hit me, and then I was down on the ground. And then a third guy got, and they were George Floyding me. They were on my neck. And I'm screaming at them like I'm being a tough guy, telling them I'm going to kick their ass while they got me on the ground there. And finally, like somebody who must have been a supervisor came over and yelled, let him up. And he starts questioning me. And I was like, these guys don't identify. One guy said I was resisting arrest. Nobody said I was under arrest. They didn't identify him as cops. I'm in the middle of nowhere. I got people with black masks just assaulting me. I think I'm getting robbed. So he said, get your ID. I went and got my ID, and then he started questioning me.
Pardon me.
Like, what are you doing here? But the guy he told me, he called me a spick, and he said he was going to deport me, send me back to where I came from. I was like, well, I came from here.
Around the corner.
Yeah. So, but they were young men, and they were full of testosterone. They were looking for, they were looking to beat somebody up, and they found somebody in me. So I hear John's point though. Most of them seem older, and they seem like wannabes. Like, yeah, I want to get in on the action.
They're older losers.
Yeah, that's
what ICE is. You can't blame the National Guard. Here's the thing. This is what people never seem to understand that are not in the military about the National Guard and the reserves. Each National Guard unit has its own job. In other words,
Right.
I was in a National Guard unit that was infantry, which are the war fighters. You can't deploy war fighters to New York and tell them to be police. We're not trained to be police. We're war fighters. So when
Right.
you deploy war fighters and you want them to be police, they're all going to be like, yeah, that's not my gig, bro.
Yeah.
You got something that you like, you want us to do some mopping, maybe some
You
area
want us to shoot
beautification.
somebody?
We're pretty good at that.
You want me to
No,
shoot
but
somebody?
the war fighters don't do that. They're not going to go to an area that needs policing and be like, well, let's just shoot them all. No, that's not how it works. Soldiers, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard, whatever, we all understand or you should, because you were trained to do it, understand the concept of a mission. That's not your mission. This is not war. We were never meant to be deployed here for crowd control unless you are a military police corps or a security police corps or something like that.
Mhm.
It's not what
Well,
you're
that's
trained to
the
do. You can't just blanket send troops in and be like, do this. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? That's not what we do.
Yeah.
that's kind of the death of the specialist,
Yeah.
you know, which is happening in every part of our society.
Sure.
But the disregard for the skills that people actually bring to the job that make them so much more valuable than just your average person.
Right.
People just want to say, no, it's a level playing field. You know, you're not any better than me. I'm not any better than anybody else. I mean,
Yeah.
The Trump administration has forgotten something that ants and bees still managed to do, and that is recognize talent and use the talent the way it's meant to be used. You know, they
have you been collaborating
specialty.
with the Rev? Because the Rev did a piece on army ants or something, and it's getting a lot of people reacting to that kind of stuff on YouTube.
How come I don't know anything about that?
Army ant. I don't know.
I mean, I know about army ants. I don't know about this. Is this a short that you created for the Reverend or Opus did?
AI did or StreamYard did.
Okay, that explains why I have no idea. I've never seen it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, people are commenting on it about army ants. So back to Andrea. Now, do you think your book is making any kind of difference? And if so, how do you measure that? And if not, is that like a frustration or disappointment to you that people are, you're not changing hearts and minds?
Well, I self-published my book, so I do not have a publishing company behind me backing every move and doing all my marketing or whatever. So I'm having to control that process, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of footwork. It's hard to get into. It's a little harder to get into bookstores than I anticipated it would be as a self-published author.
Really?
You can go around and offer, they're happy to take your book for free. They're happy to take it on consignment. They won't necessarily buy it from you.
Yeah.
You can, I have links at every possible bookstore on the internet, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, everywhere you can buy my book. But it does take some time for it to be produced because they're each made to order. So this is disappointing. I wish that process were quicker, were more immediate, so that you could actually compete with a service like Amazon that has, books in their warehouse and they're on your doorstep the next day. I can't do that, but it is worth the wait.
You bring up stuff with the publishing industry that I really hadn't considered before, because I always say that being self-published is better. You're better off to self-publish now, because the traditional publishing houses don't do anything for you that you'd still have to do a lot of the work yourself. But I did not consider the fact that they get stuff put into brick and mortar bookstores. And they get the bookstores to actually put up money up front for that. I would just think that it's always on consignment, and they get paid by how many units they sell, and then push that back to their publishing house. If that's not the case, then I have to readjust my thinking on what's better, because I feel like the old school of publishing, the big publishing houses, they're just going to take your profit. That's all they do. They don't help you market it. They don't even kind of lift a finger for you. They don't even help you with like the art design and all that kind of stuff. You're on your own. We're just going to take a chunk of it. So.
But there are amazing tools out there. So if you're determined and you have a good idea, and you're willing to apply yourself, it is very doable to produce a book, and it's, most people live most of their lives online these days. So just being online is not a terrible thing.
Yeah.
You can still reach a lot of people.
Bookstoread.com/polemics. But I find, now this is a question I wanted to ask you, because if I just go to bookstoread.com, your book is right on the first page. Is that by coincidence? Do you have to kind of grease your wheels up to make that happen?
No, the distributor that I'm using is Drafted Digital, and they have a Books to Read is a website that gives you a universal link. So it'll list all the different places that someone can go to get your book. And then all they have to do is press the button. It goes directly to your book. And then you can buy it on the place that you want to. You can also go into a bookstore and you could say, hey, I want this book. And they will order it for you. I'm in all the catalogs.
What about libraries?
They will not necessarily do that without somebody requesting it.
Are you offering it to library? I mean, that it seems like you'd have to, because there are how many libraries in the United States of America that you'd have to cover the cost for. That seems prohibitive. But is that a avenue at all? Putting it in library?
Well, yes. I mean, I have approached the Jacksonville Public Library. Their policy is they will allow you to send them a book. So you're funding it yourself, obviously. They will allow you to send the book, and then it will go through their processes and eventually end up on a shelf.
Wow.
Now,
at the downtown library. So my book is at the downtown library in Jacksonville, Florida, if you'd care to take an airline trip.
Excellent. I'm going to go down there and check it out. Oh, I lost my Jacksonville card.
Is your
or you
book,
can just buy it.
Since you're in Florida, is your book bannable or burnable?
Burnable.
Actually, there are a couple pictures that I included in my Podmatch portfolio, or bio, and I dressed up as my book, because you can get, like, if you go to one of these print places, you get your whole book as a cloth. You should put it up there if you can. It's hard to describe.
I gotta find that really quick so I could share this with you.
I just came up with a couple of good plans.
Sure.
What if we reach out to that guy that doesn't like Matt, that Caleb guy, and have him make a video of burning your book? Then you'll probably sell a shitload of them.
There you go.
That guy who doesn't like Matt?
That's what my costume says. So I made a costume out of this, so I looked like a book. And then my husband is an engineer, so he created this little fan, and we took a whole bunch of strips of like that poly plastic, whatever, and so it looked like fire on my shoulder. It was like
awesome.
Blowing up in the air like an inflatable tube man. And it said suitable for burning.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's a problem here. People are definitely taking books off of the shelves, especially in schools.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do have a
Not
question.
The most
though.
flattering picture, but
You have a question for you though about the whole library thing. If you locally request the book from your library, will they buy the book?
if I request it,
No,
like if I went into Shoreham Library, Shoreham Waiting Library,
they will. I mean, most of the time they will. If you're interested in reading a book and you bring them the book or you bring them the ISBN number, they will look it up and
let's everybody do that. Everybody
we should do that for our authors in general. We should go do that. That's a good idea.
That's a very good way to support your authors.
Wow. I have to go get a library card from my town, from Westminster.
Yeah, I wondered because our library says that. They're like, hey, if you guys want a book, let us know and we can track it down, get it, whatever.
All
Add
you
it to the
people on
library.
iHeartRadio, do that today. Every last one of you.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can look up the, 'cause we can look up
That
the
would be
ISBN.
fabulous.
Yeah. Are you so the question I was going to ask you if you're an optimist, but yes, optimism depends on. Do you think there because we are slipping into a very authoritarian regime here now? Do you think there's going to be a fair any election, never fair or not, in 2028? Is there going to be an election for a president in the United States?
I believe there will be an election, but I think it's vital that people don't just slip into the abyss as you're saying, but that they go kicking and screaming. People need to make a lot of noise, and whether it's at their local, city councils or at their representatives. I have a poem that's called Representative, and it's basically a call and response like they used to do at like the different rallies that they had back in the 90s, where they didn't have speakers. And it's all about how the representatives were not showing up even to their own meetings. They'd call a meeting and all the citizens would be there saying, what's going on? What's going on? And the representative isn't there. So they'd, put a stick figure or a cutout in his
cardboard figure
chair.
up there, yeah.
You remember this is
Yeah,
all on
yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
So I just made a little call and response, and I would be so honored if someone somewhere the next time they go to a protest uses it with the crowd and really let representatives know how hurtful it is that they are not doing their jobs.
Well, I'm running for Congress again next year. Again,
Congratulations.
Well, that I got one vote last time.
That was my vote. I voted for him, even though I live in Maryland.
I must be like the most negative person in the world because I feel like, given his track record and what he tried to do when he did lose an election, he's not going to let another election happen. Like he's going to find a way to either start a war and say, or something, some national emergency. Well, we're just going to have to put the election on hold. If he's alive and with any bit of cognition at all, I think he's going to find a way to cancel, just pull the rug out from under us.
I tell him good luck with that. We'll see what happens if he tries it.
I don't think J.D. Vance
that's
would
the
like
way I
that
feel.
because J.D. Vance made a political calculation to go from a anti-Trumper to a MAGA person for political gains. He's got his eyes on that seat. I think if Trump says, I'm not going to give up the seat, J.D. Vance will say, real shame about the poison accidentally put in your ketchup.
Well, even if he got himself the nomination, I'm not sure J.D. Vance would make it.
I'm just saying he has
aspirations,
though.
Backing.
Yeah, J.D. Vance has aspirations, though. That's why he made the political calculation to go from Trump is a Nazi, a cancer on the country, to he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
Because he has his eyes on that seat. And Peter Thiel has his eyes on J.D. Vance getting that seat.
A meme that I saw is like going from Trump to Vance is like shitting your pants and changing your shirt. Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
don't know how to respond to that.
I know. It's not exactly.
Well, the
poetry.
proper response would be, okay, what kind of shirt? No.
It's not. It's not poetry, but it is prose.
Prose shit.
It's rhiming lowbrow. Because I like poems that rhyme. I mean, and prose is for people who are more sophisticated, highbrow, and I'm not that. Is there something wrong with rhyming all the time?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that people are they associate it with children. I think it's associated with nursery rhymes. That's the exposure that most people have to rhyme or advertisement. A lot of rhyme and advertisement.
Yeah.
And of course songs, so absent the music, people are like, what do I do with this? And but if you look back in the past in the English language, I mean, rhyme was extremely popular until
That's how they
maybe
learned, because a lot of people were illiterate.
1950. You know, I mean, it's only been in the very modern age that it's been kind of frowned upon. But everyone I know who is a poet, even if they stick mostly to free form, they know how to rhyme. They do it.
Yeah.
It's a secret, but they do it, you know. And there are
I
some
think
fabulous ones. So I don't know if you've ever read Brian Bilston.
No.
He's you can find him on the internet, and he will post a poem from time to time, and he just is so clever and always rhyming.
if
Are
rhyme
you
were
an
not so
optimist?
important, then the rappers would not be so adamant about forcing the rhymes that they do, and
Yeah,
making it feel like
right. Yeah.
DZA is a DZA, SZA. You know, if
Making
rhyming was
words
not
that don't
important,
rhyme sound like they rhyme. Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Yeah, and
are you
the few open mics that I've gone to where people have done like spoken word poetry, it's just amazing. It's an art form. It's just like,
what was
you
that
know,
word that came up the other day where it had rhetorical in the as the root of the word, but some remember somebody in the chat room was throwing a rhetoricalization or something crazy like that at me. I couldn't figure it out. Are you do you think we're going to survive this, like this thing that we're going through, this Trump disease? Do you think America will
oh
survive?
yes,
You do?
I believe we will. Yes, I plan on it.
Damn.
I think that
Why am I so negative?
most things like this are very short lived. I don't see it. I don't see it continuing. Because there's already so much pushback, and you know, it's such a short time. We've been in the hands of this man for less than a year.
Feels like an eternity.
I know it does, because it's so
Like,
much has happened.
Did
Oh,
you
terrible.
watch the Gab last night? The rant? Did you watch it? The Trump
No,
speech. Oh, good for you. I didn't either.
Well, it was
But
only 20 minutes
I
long,
missed
so
the
you could
one
probably
last
make it.
night, I think.
You could have made a good poem out of it. I think an artist could have looked at it and made a decent poem, especially the way he was seething. He's deceiving and lying, seething and deceiving. I think it's probably
The last one
yeah.
I saw was the one about Rob Reiner, I think.
Well,
That was-
last night, if I were to write a poem about last night's speech, I
It
would have
sucked.
called it "Seething and Deceiving."
Ah,
oh,
nice title.
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you.
So what you
I'll
say?
be here
If
all
I
day.
were to, why don't you get on it today and have it ready for tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I
Um,
look forward to it.
See,
I look
the
forward to
thing
hearing
is,
it.
I keep coming back to these because I feel like there are lots of parallels between it, and it almost has me believing in reincarnation. The parallels between him and Hitler. Hitler did the beer hall putsch, and then he went to jail for 5 years. Trump did the insurrection, and then kind of did 5 years in purgatory, but he didn't go to jail. But then he's back, and it feels like this can't end until he's dead in the bunker or fakes his death in the bunker and then tries to run to Argentina, something like that. It feels like this is just a bad remake of a really bad movie, and I don't feel it can end without America in rubble the way Berlin was in 1945. That's
Doctors
Well,
have been warning.
I didn't spend a whole lot of time in the Eastern Bloc when I was in Germany. You know, I did go over to Berlin, and when, you know, Checkpoint Charlie and all that stuff. But we did go for maybe a half a day to East Berlin and wandered around, and it's really bad what
Yeah.
happens
Yeah.
when you take away the lifeblood of the country, you know. And I think part of the lifeblood of America is capitalism.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not defending it entirely. It is a dangerous and merciless engine.
I
But-
did a little thing about capitalism the other day. Like capitalism, I think, gets a bad name. I think Eisenhower and Teddy Roosevelt especially understood that capitalism needs regulations and guardrails, and capitalism with none of that, just run amok, that pure greed, that's a whole different thing. That could be evil because
Yes.
that's driven by the love of money and just profit, and let the robber barons eat the poor. But I think capitalism is in a really powerful economic engine. It just needs to be regulated and controlled, and so that the greedy don't get out of control. And I
Yeah,
think
there needs to be a measure of fairness.
yes, and we've lost that already. I think it's just the billionaires just want to just control everything. So
Matt, I'm going to go back to something you said about Trump disappearing for 5 years. Scientists, especially, and even scientists and people in the medical profession will tell you that if you do not eradicate a virus completely, that it will come back mutated and will be immune to the things that could have killed it the first time around. That's what happened to Trump. When he was down, we should have eradicated him.
it's
But
Merrick Garland's
instead,
fault.
he came back immune to some of the things that would have taken him out, like the Constitution and laws. And he surrounded himself with other little spikes that protect him from the very things that should have taken him out.
Dr. Garland would not give the shot. That's what you're saying. That's
yes, I'm saying Garland did not fully inoculate us from that virus, and so it came back, and now we have no real. We have to develop herd immunity. You know,
You're taking the metaphor to great lengths.
Wow.
I think I agree with you. I mean, I'm a big proponent of vaccines. I had my COVID shot. You know, I'm just like, I do not understand anybody, you know, feeling threatened by modern science. I don't get that. But you know, we are so lucky to live in this age where we could live to be, you know, some people live to be 80, 90, 100 years old because of modern science.
Unfortunately, all those 80, 90-year-old people, they're the ones who are running for president. I mean, can we get somebody under 100 years old in there? But
the one other point I wanted to make about the virus issue with the president is that the impeachments were not successful. You know, we have one remedy against a wicked or a you know, malfeasance of a president, and that is impeachment.
Okay, you're too nice. There is another remedy.
Okay, I'm not going there.
From YouTube, Rumble everywhere.
No, I did not say what the remedy was.
All right. That's enough. We get it. There is another remedy, but we're not going to talk about it.
Yes, that's not
we're
what
gonna
we do in
go
a
buy the book.
civilized country.
You got to go buy the book. You go to books2read.com/polemics. How do I pronounce it? Polemics?
Yes, it's polemics, which is basically controversial argument.
I just
like,
made up
you
that
know,
word.
fire and brimstone preaching, things like that. That's polemics.
I think if Venezuela embargoes our ships until Trump resigns, I think we could do that. I think Venezuela could do that.
I can't let you go without, because I have been saying for weeks now that he is really lighting the potential for a world war, because I feel like the reason Japan got involved in World War II was oil embargoes and things like that, and so he's setting up. He's setting up a blockade around Venezuela. China wants that oil. Lots of people want that oil. Do you feel like there is a potential for a major worldwide conflict over what's happening in Venezuela?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
I think that it is a very attractive excuse that the administration will leap for if for instance Trump feels he's in a corner.
Huh.
So that worries me a lot. I have You know, I have people in my family who are military age among my children.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not eager for anybody to have to go off to war,
Okay,
especially for no reason.
this is the reason why I do not think it's going to wind up in a world war. Okay, 85% of Venezuelan oil is purchased by China. Trump setting up an embargo preventing China from getting that oil. China can take us out without firing a shot. They say, Trump, move your embargo, or we will sell our debt, or we will
Yeah.
or we will call in our debt. We owe, I don't know how much of our debt China owns,
A
but
lot.
that's it. They play that card. The embargo ends that day.
Yeah.
Today.
So why haven't they done that yet? Because they
I
do
don't know
want
the
that
answer
oil.
to that. I do not know the answer to that because I'm
Calling in the debt, that doesn't mean anybody really has to pay. It just means we're going to take you to court, right?
No,
I mean,
it means no. When they call in their chips, when they have to go to cash money, we got to pay up. We got to come up with the money. Yeah.
Well, I hate to do this to you guys, but my adult son is standing over me, glowering.
Yeah. No, thank you for being here.
Like some attention from me, so
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to say goodbye.
We're going to say goodbye to you too. We're getting off the air, so thank you for being here. Tell people we got to buy the book. Go to books2read.com. The link's in the description.
And go to the library and ask for Polemics by Name.
Already sent an email to my library.
Thank you for being a good sport and postponing it for a week too. Thank you very much, and it's been great to have you here. Have a great day.
Bye. Thank you,
Andrea LeDew. So you're saying they call
Andrea. I think she's saying it wrong.
Whatever. You're saying they call in the debt, and we got to pay that. Like, come up with whatever had $38 trillion. Like, you got it in your pocket now, and if we don't pay it, what happens? They come and take our country back. They repossess America.
Well, it wouldn't hurt. It mainly hurt whoever has money, and I think treasury bonds. I think let me see, treasury bonds, municipal bonds. I'm not exactly sure how the debt is, what they're buying when they buy the debt. If it's treasury bonds or municipal bonds or James bonds or golden bond, I don't know what they're buying. But yeah, they call it in.
Debt. We got the biggest debt. No one's debt is bigger than ours.
So I think we've done a really good job at boring the shit out of the audience today. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, there's a guy named Ryan on Govs who's like, there's more people on the screen than there are in the Govs room. It's like, I said, well, go to another platform.
Yeah, blow me.
Lonely, go to another platform.
How about this? Blow me, Ryan. Blow me.
So I also mentioned, I said, it doesn't matter which platform you go to, the conversation is still going to be the same. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm glad that I always come in for these riveting comedy discussions when I'm off.
Well, the part about me running was pretty funny, right?
Yeah, it's hilarious.
I think I'm going to go out for a run now. I run to the front door, light a joint, watch the cats and chickens fight, and then I'll run right back in the house.
Well, I'd like to say before I leave that go ahead and hit up Matt Napo.
Thank you very much
for all of your crypto needs. He's a big fan of doing cryptid art and alien art. So
if I thought there was a market, I'd really practice to see what I could do. But I'd love to try to do a full-size Bigfoot. I don't think.
But you don't know how big Bigfoot is. That's just it.
Well, I mean, like a
so you can make it 9 foot or 6 foot. Or 8 foot,
yeah, I'm just talking about a
11
headshot, just a portrait headshot, like on an 18 by 24, and take up the whole canvas with the big shot, Bigfoot's mug, like a portrait, like the head and shoulders, you know.
Have him looking all like he's the captain of a ship, like with a side view.
Have him looking all blurred. Have him looking all blurred like he does in nature.
Well, I would go after the Patterson film. Like you could actually kind of sort of make out what, you know, it looks like a big gorilla.
I would have gone with the Zabruta film when Bigfoot is going back into the left.
Some big tits. Anyway. No, also with the people who are saying that Bigfoot is not that big in this picture, Braxy is like 12 feet tall.
I did not know that.
Or 10 or 12 feet tall. The Mothman is tall as fuck also. So they are all in proportion to each other.
All right. I got it right. Well, I was, you know, But people said too much landscape in there. You're a landscape painter. Ooh, trees and bushes. Fuck the, you know.
You need the landscape because you can't just set a fire. You can't just set a fire anywhere. You need room. Otherwise, it spreads.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says. It's awesome. So fuck
He was
off.
keeping warm. Bigfoot was keeping, because those big feet get cold. I don't know if you know. They call him.
Takes a lot of
Oh, you know
arteries.
about Bigfoot, but he got big feet.
It takes a lot of arteries to keep a foot that big warm.
Fucking A.
Just kill
And
him.
they don't have socks. I don't know if you noticed about socks. Even at John Socks. Remember John Socks? Who was a guest on this program. Crazy
I know
Socks by John.
Stockton, the martial artist, John
No,
Stockton.
crazy Socks. John's Crazy Socks. Remember the kid with autism or something? His father was whatever. They're in business together. But they don't sell Bigfoot-sized socks because it's fucking huge.
Bombas does.
Yeah,
Bombas does.
And for every pair you buy, Bombas donates a pair of those socks to Bigfoot in need.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got a Slaptail coming out tonight, right? A podcast coming out Thursday? Oh no, you record on Thursday.
Well, tonight we record. We had to postpone what we were planning on recording because I accidentally cursed Rob Reiner and his wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever have that porn star on? Tiffany
No, she
Miller?
canceled again. So I told her, just hit us up whenever. Like, I'm not gonna-
Today on Govs, I believe it's today, Ginger Lynn. Well, she's from like the 80s, right? Ginger Lynn, porn
I
star.
only remember Amber Lynn, and then everybody else named themselves Lynn after Amber Lynn.
I think I'm pretty sure Ginger was one of the first, like the Marilyn Chambers era. I'm not sure about this, but I think that's where she's from. I would like, I definitely want to. If get me in touch with some porn stars, I need some porn to kind of boost our ratings a little bit here on the morning show. We need.
Well, I thought that girl would have been a lot of fun because she was the glow. She was a glow, gorgeous lady of wrestling. So I thought that would have been fun. But I'm like, I'm not going to chase anybody down because we don't do interviews anyway. We just have you come on and hang out.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's what I would really want to do. Come on and hang out, like, and we'll ask you about your twat.
Yeah, I can always ask her if she wants to hop on with you.
I thought Glow was gargantuan ladies of wrestling. It's gorgeous. I thought there was
gorgeous.
I thought it was gargantuan.
Nah.
So, any comedy happening with you this weekend at all? Nothing. It's Thursday.
Well, I have a show Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
I have a show Friday at the Cricket in Battle Creek. It's going to be Derek Lee Feltner and Andrew Causeball.
That sounds familiar. Is he just a local guy, or?
He's got a lot of. He just filmed a special, I think. Let's
Ah.
see if I can pull him up real quick.
Is he
I don't want to say his name wrong.
competition for GD? I don't know if you know this, but GD's a special guy. He's got more specials than Carter's Got Pills. All right. Well, we're going to end the show and put people out of their misery. And that Ryan guy could be happy now because there will be more people online in the chat room for Tony than there are on his screen. Except I think he's going to have Ginger Lynn, the former porn star. Anyway, tomorrow, Elizabeth Croydon will be our first guest tomorrow. And in the second hour, I forget.
All right.
I forget. Well, who's our second? Somebody from Addiction. Hold on a second. Mandy Alexis from Addiction to Dick. No, I'm sorry.
Fun. Cool.
I know.
I will be sure to tune in for that while I'm working.
Yeah.
Addiction to shunning dick. Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, Andrea. I'm sorry to everybody. Alexis tomorrow. Tomorrow, Elizabeth. She probably want to talk about Rob Reiner, right? That's what she wants to talk about.
Well, she was supposed to be on my podcast tonight, and we postponed it because we were going to talk about Stand By Me the entire freaking podcast because I love that movie. She loves that movie. And then, I jinxed poor Rob Reiner, and it's my fault.
You're the one who told me Will Wheaton was the main character in that movie.
Yes.
No, Tracy Lords. I looked it up.
Wrong movie.
He's thinking of Stand Behind Me.
Yeah, he's thinking of 80s during the golden age of porn.
Right.
Yeah.
So Tracy Lords was not in Stand By Me?
No.
Fuck.
No.
All right.
Movie.
All right, that's the show for you. So tune in tomorrow. We won't have John Beavis here tomorrow, unfortunately. We would love him to be here, but he's got to go save lives. His son saving lives. So don't forget to turn on your radio. Bye for now.
me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now.